Okay, can you hear me now? Hey everyone, it's me. Sorry, it's me, ATARi H&B. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to the stream. Today we are going to be talking about power scaling, particularly versus battle Q&As and matchups. It's going to be featuring your boy Roz and your boy Andre. Say what's up to the chat, folks.
Yo, what's up, guys?
All right, guys. So just to let you know, heads up, I do got a couple things personal in my personal life going on, so it is going to be a little bit limited to this couple of things I'll be able to do, but nonetheless, we should still be able to have a great stream. The stream is going to be relatively short because I need to make sure I get my rest, but overall, let's begin. Okay, so okay, everyone. First and foremost, let's go ahead and begin with one of the basics on where we're gonna go with this, because we're gonna have a Q&A. Okay, so the thumbnail you saw is really just clickbait. I mean, it'll be an interesting battle, but we're gonna really be focusing on what the chat has to ask. So, first of all, everyone, welcome to the chat. IDK, what's up? Jose, what's up? King Games all day, what's up? And Xeno Gaming 16, what's up? How's you guys doing today? So let me go ahead and let me get a nice. There we go. There we go. Get a nice. There we go. So we're going to be mostly focusing on a couple of interesting components when it comes to the versus battle. And what I really want to focus on with you guys is how are we going to go about these matchups, and what do you guys think about them? Let's go ahead and read Xeno Gaming's first comment, which is going to be, where do you scale Gilgamesh, ATARi? A lot of people have been downplaying Fate like crazy to like planetary, lol. So my opinion on Gilgamesh, I'm going to be honest with you, is currently limited because I didn't get to see everything related to what he can do. So saying he's planetary is likely because they're seeing mostly the TV show, and it's going to be really difficult to give a completely fair synopsis on exactly how I feel about his actual full power output and potential. Someone who would be able to do something like that as Yamcha. But of course, again, it's very important to know how to dimensional tier whenever you're dealing with someone who goes into multiverse categories, because if you don't, there are a lot of nuances that can be missing. It's not the necessarily needed, but it is definitely going to be helpful. So let's go ahead and start with like an interesting matchup. Roz, what do you think is a good matchup? Actually, you know what we could do, guys? Let's do something like this. Let's go to Comic Vine. Comic Vine is going to be an interesting place where we can find a bunch of forums, discussions, and character matchups. So let's go ahead and read those. So yeah. Let's see. So we got a lot of different discussions that are coming up on the board. Some are getting bumped, some are not. Let's see here. All right, so let's see here. We got let's kind of look at a couple of them. New bug report. Okay, not what we're looking for. Let's see. Who do you think would win the fight to the death? Sonic the Hedgehog or the Flash? That probably is a good way to start it off, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. stream react to Seth. This is going to be interesting. I agree. I would stream react to... Well, I don't think I want to stream react to Seth unnecessarily. Not at this moment, but that's okay. Let me go ahead and look at this right here. So let's go ahead and review this. Who do you think would win in a fight to the death? Sonic the Hedgehog or the Flash? Analyzing the history of who would win in a fight with Sonic the Hedgehog or the Flash by analyzing who is faster, stronger, and has more durability. In this debate, I will be using any version of Barry Allen. Okay. Well, I'm not going to read this entire Bible. Okay. This is really interesting, but again, I mean, they put a lot of work into this, but again, the key is to stay concise. And in order to keep this entertaining, use scans. Because nobody else is going to really want to read all of that. That's why, like, with my blog on amino apps, I just put the scans, put the context, what it says, give some details and intricacies, and that's it. All right, let's see.
All you need.
So one of them said, if composite for both, Flash wins. I disagree with that, but let's continue. And correct supersonic statues, Flash due to him being an IG? Was that...
What?
An IG?
Is he an Infinity Gauntlet or something? What?
Yeah, like, stop. I hate when people use these short acronyms for things that we don't even know. I know there's like BFR, which is battlefield removal. I'm like, dude, just stop saying battlefield removal. Just say he can nuke the area. Keep it simple. Sorry, I couldn't finish the OP. So chat, this is going to be interesting. That's good. Archie Sonic or Game Sonic? That's a quick question, Jose. So when I'm looking at this, when I see something like this, I'm looking at, is it really Game Sonic or is it, a different version of Sonic? Depending on the variant of Sonic we're using here, it's going to throw a lot of things off balance. Let's see. Arrival in minute time is greater than arrival in zero time. Okay, zero time is greater than arrival in minute time, and arrival in negative time is greater than zero time. I mean, there's no such thing as that. Negative is just a concept of something that can either go backwards or what is owed in depth. The whole concept of negative numbers were invented because people needed to pay something in depth or as a way to retrace steps. So technically, you can arrive in negative time, but the idea of that is really just going to the past. But when you go to the past, you're now experiencing the present because present is an anecdotal experience. So it's a paradoxical point that really is hard to quantify. So zero time and negative time are virtually the same damn thing because it doesn't matter. The only thing about negative time is like if we're fighting and Roz says, all right, I'm going to go back to when ATARi was like, ATARi was not expecting this attack, so I arrived in negative time and punched him, basically being able to like kind of reset. It's like Yuha. So it's more of a hacks rather than speed. True Omnipotence has the highest tier of speed, and anyone in that speed tier should a contender for the fastest. The Flash can even steal speed from anything it so desires to increase his own speed. Speed Force is beyond space and time. Speed Force is beyond light. Okay, so he has a scan. Let's look at it. Privacy error. Nope, we're not doing that.
Definitely not.
Flash can run into the Speed Force, which requires him to travel at the speed far greater than massively faster than light in speeds. Flash is actually able to go much more faster. Why do you have to put much more?
Okay.
Faster than the speed of light. His speed has no limit. No, I don't think so. I don't think so, bro. I'm sorry. Sorry, got to disagree. Why do we got to disagree now? Andre, what do you think? Why should we disagree that Flash is not at that speed?
I mean, I need some pretty good evidence to, like, assume that he has true infinite speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of just a huge assumption, though.
Yeah.
He has, like, infinite, like, levels of infinite speed, but not true infinite speed.
Yeah. Where he's, like, every single place at once. So, talking about the Flash again, the reason I don't necessarily agree with him being unlimited by speed is because a lot of the intricacies of a story, what's the point of speed stealing if you have infinite speed? The only point would be in speed stealing is to make your opponent as slow as hell. Other than that, You're only using it to equalize your stats. Because what is there to surpass if you are infinite speed and have no limit?
Yep.
Technically, what counts as the presence? Exactly, Timothy. Very good. So, hey, Hiro, welcome to the chat. All right, let's see here. Now, I want to make sure that hopefully everyone can still hear me. I don't know, Roz, Andre, speak up for a little bit.
Yo.
Okay, good. You're loud and clear. You're loud and clear. Perfect. So, hey, what's up, Beyond Birthday? Welcome to the stream. So we're not getting as many viewers as we usually do, but that's fine. We're still going to go ahead and move along with the stream. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what else they're talking about. Ryder says Wally breaks the light barrier. Okay, well, Sonic also did that. So again, Wally and Barry run beyond light speed to reach Darkseid, who is sitting in a singularity beyond the reach of light. I mean,
So he's in a black hole.
yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, Darkseid is sitting at the center of a personal singularity beyond the reach of light. To get to him, we'll have to move faster than we ever have before. On your mark, get set. And then they go. Godspeed. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you're light speed, beyond light speed, I wouldn't see why you can't. I mean, there are places in the universe where light doesn't reach, according to Dragon Ball. But guess who could travel to the afterlife while casually not even trying? The Whis, Xeno's guards, can do the same speed technique as well.
Yep.
So, again, it's not to downplay the feats, but like you got to bring up something to the table that Sonic can outbeat Sonic, because Sonic can do the same thing. He outran a black hole, essentially. Barry has broken. Let's see, they outran Black Racer, aka Death. Yeah, but that's not the Endless. Why do people think that's the Endless? Like, people think, oh, they ran a like, because he outran Death. Like, for example, you outran Death. It's like, I mean, what is the context of that? How do you outrun Death? It's basically, oh, I'm supposed to die, but I'm gonna run away from my own death. It's like, I mean, that's a very difficult scenario to really consider, because if we think about it in the context of how they're presenting it, outrunning Death is not really super crazy if you think about it, because think about Naruto. She can go beyond space and time. It's like into the essence of the spirit realm, aka connections to the afterlife. It's like, so is she outrunning Death by existing there? Because it's afterlife. How do you die in a place where afterlife is? It's a very quirky, hard to fathom argument. It's very difficult. So it doesn't really tell us what does that quantify as. What does it tell us? The only thing it tells us is maybe it's an abstract representation of the Flash being a casual. Maybe that's what they're saying. But other than that, I don't see it as being out of versal speed. Not at all. Flash fans, he outran Death. I mean, outrunning a concept is pretty impressive, though. It is true, but let's think of it in this perspective, Timothy. A concept really just categorizes as an idea. And ideas can be limited to particular dimensions and universes. Certain universes, the concept of death isn't present, aka the afterlife in Dragon Ball. I mean, you don't really die there, because people who die go there. That's why, despite all the torture Frieza goes through, or many other people who burn in hell, their souls don't necessarily die. That's the whole idea of. So again, you're technically, as a soul, you're beyond the concept of death itself. But then it comes down into, what's the difference between death and erasure? Because isn't that like the final death? Because the idea of death is to no longer be alive. If you're a soul, you're still alive. So it's like there's different tiers to death, just like there's different tiers to mortality, just as there's different tiers to concepts. Because by this definition, guys, can we agree? Whis is beyond the concept of death then. Wouldn't he be? Can't die. He can only be erased. He can't actually die. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't eat. So he doesn't have to, at least. So what's the whole point? How do we... Like, does that mean Whis can never get fatigue?
If we have yet to see him get fatigued at this point.
If he can't sleep, if he doesn't he doesn't sleep. He doesn't eat. He doesn't need energy. So the question is, where do their energy source come from? It comes down to a lot of questioning you have to ask about how angels are. And Whis, even though Frieza was dead, Whis didn't need Shenron to just pop Whis back into life. In fact, Whis accelerated Bulma's baby's age. So again, it comes down to like, well, you got people beyond the concept of time, concept of age, and it kind of adds a lot of questions. What tier of the concept did they surpass? So my question is, what tier of death did the Flash outspeed? That's the whole question. That's why it's a hard to quantify feat, and that's why I don't consider it out-of-versal. I consider it impressive, but I don't quantify it as anything more but just a idea that he escaped. So it comes down to, can you kill the Flash? Still begs the question, because if you, let's say you Hakai him, he doesn't have legs to run. So now what? He doesn't have legs. He doesn't have thoughts. He doesn't have a conscience. He doesn't have a spirit or a soul. And he can't think. Nothing exists of him, period. So that's the question now. How does that work now? But angels need the god of destruction, right? No, not necessarily. Angels just cease to function, as in they're pretty much on vacation when a god of destruction's not around. Because when their gods of destruction died, Vados is still alive, and she's just like, okay, I'm just gonna cling on to Universe 6. Bye. Universe 7. So nothing really changes for the angels. They're just like, all right, peace. So there's a lot of things you have to question about that. So let's go on a little bit further. I still agree, it's impressive, but how impressive is hard to quantify. Barry has broken time barrier more than once, and even created a universe of his own with the use of his speed in Flashpoint. That's faster than the speed of light. Yeah, but it kind of reminds me of Joe Shimomura. Remember how Joe Shimomura isn't infinite speed, but the way they treat light speed in the actual comic grants you the hacks of what appears to be infinite speed?
Yeah.
Because the physics are different. So it goes into like, what's greater, the chaos force or the speed force? Chaos force is limited to the human mind and imagination. The human mind and imagination in Sonic has been shown that there are extra dimensional beings who think beyond the concept of man. Like beyond what man can understand, such as Solaris, Time Eater. I mean, unless you think a man can comprehend what they can think of. Or Chaos, who is made of energy itself. So it comes down into like that aspect. It's kind of like Reverse, you know? It's like, what do you do to outthink someone like Reverse? For the most part, like a conceptual idea manifested as a being. How does that work? You know what I mean? Like a sentient concept, essentially. How do we deal with that? So it has different levels, I believe, and depending on how you're scaling them, can really change everything. Flash can perceive events in less than an attosecond, because plus he's faster than time. I mean, another privacy wall. Anyway. Hell, Flash counts in attoseconds. Okay, let's see the scan. Another privacy error. Great. Flash has pushed the limits of his speed. Flash's speed has no limit. So he gets stuck. So he gets sucked into the speed force since nothing is faster than the speed force.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Nah.
What about beings in the limbo? Like Cosmic Armor, because there have been people who said Flash is faster than Cosmic Armor. I'm like, Cosmic Armor, according to Grant Morrison, is the ideas that are fighting that really don't really take any time, but they had to represent it through some art to kind of give visual representation. So if we're going off of the high end of Grant Morrison's interpretation of the fight, the Flash, how are you faster than that? Because the realm of the Speed Force is beyond space-time, but how many pieces of space-time? 13th dimensional, 100th dimensional. It's hard to really say because you have beings like Perpetua and Mixie who are also beyond that. And they're numeric dimensional. Even though their dimensions aren't equal to ours, it's still done in an arbitrary idea. So depending on how you really look at it, this can be a very hard to quantify statement. Because again, counting in attoseconds doesn't tell us much. I push myself further and faster than anyone has before. I don't know about that one, Chief. You saying you push yourself faster than Lucifer Morningstar and Vertical? Push yourself faster than Quantum Super? Than Cosmic Armor? Push yourself faster than Mandrak? Push yourself faster than Pralaya? Push yourself faster than Cena the Wanderer, who can perceive every single dimensionality in existence all at once?
Yeah, ATARi.
What's up?
You got a super chat.
Oh, shoot! God dang! Yo! Oh my goodness. Thanks, Prince Boy. I appreciate that greatly. Holy crap. I need to get a notification. Hold on. I need to get a notification update because I don't have one, so I didn't even notice that. Oh my goodness. This dude, this dude, used, I needed to use Gyo just to notice that. This dude lessened his presence, like Hunter x Hunter. That was amazing. Thank you so much. Let's see. It says, sorry for interrupting, but I'd like to know your stance on Ultron Prime versus Demigra. MCU Ultron Prime. Oh.
No. See you?
The famous attosecond scan? All right, sure. Definitely, Prince Boyd. Absolutely. Let's go on and tackle that right now. So, let's go ahead and go into MCU Ultron.
That was fun. Andre, isn't MCU Ultron Prime from the What If series?
Yeah, I think he's talking about Infinite Ultron.
Yeah. So, what do you know about MCU Ultron, Andre, compared to what I know? Because you know more than I do.
Should scale to the U multiverse since he broke through the boundaries of the multiverse and fought the Watcher. Since there's like an infinite possibilities, he should be at least dimensional.
Yeah. Now, if he fought the Watcher, that's extremely impressive. And this is part of the MCU, so this is an interesting scope of scaling. Now, my question is, what variant of Demigra are we using? Are we using Xenoverse or Super Dragon Ball Heroes? And
I mean, both variants are broken as is, so
yeah, pretty much.
They're pretty much the same person.
Probably too much for him anyway, though.
Yeah, Ultron Prime. I remember seeing that fight that he had with the Watcher. Because Watcher technically is supposed to fight whatsoever anyway.
Yeah.
He only did because he felt threatened.
So he said Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Super Dragon Ball Heroes Ultron versus Demigra. So Super Dragon Ball Heroes Ultron. Sorry, MCU Ultron versus Super Dragon Ball Heroes Demigra. So it really comes down to the techniques and abilities of each character's individuality, because I'm pretty sure Ultron is not someone you could just kill off a snap of a finger, from what I recall. Correct?
Yeah, he one-shot Thanos before Thanos could even do anything against him. So
yeah. So then we have to ask yourself, what are Ultron's best feats that he's performed, and how do we stack up and compare them to Demigra? Because Demigra is
his best feats is like punching the Watcher through different universes.
Mm-hmm.
And punching the boundaries between the multiverse.
Right. Let me see if I can get a respect thread so I can get an idea of some of his better feats, just so we can kind of examine them, because what the respect thread concludes is not what I'm going to conclude.
Let's see. Actually, I do remember that Andre did share a video of the fight between the Watcher and Ultron in the Discord, but watching that will probably get the streak taken down by Marvel, so that is not worth the risk.
Oh, yeah. So we can't watch certain clips, right?
Yeah, more than likely not.
Okay.
I mean, unless you're a big-time YouTuber.
All right, so... All right, so fair use, guys. Calm down. Fair use, bro. Does MCU Ultron have the Infinity Stone? That's what Zay asked.
The one and the What If, I believe, does.
So let's go ahead and let's look at it from this perspective. We have Demigra, okay? We have Demigra, who's a being who can exist outside of the exact flow of time itself. He's not limited to conventional lower dimensions or astral dimensions in the Dragon Ball Xenoverse, because ultimately everything that exists is a Xenoverse. So let's recall the last Dragon Ball list I made. So the thing is about Dragon Ball Heroes, which makes it extremely scary, is we have the living world, which is comprised of multiple dimensional layers of existence. Given that there are many dimensional manifolds that exist within the living world, it makes it extremely very likely the macrocosm exists on a higher dimensional construct much further than what we thought before, beyond 5D. So at that level, when you're now going from 5D to potentially even 10th dimensional, depending on how you look at the scan, you're looking at a character who can, pretty much, you're looking at a character who can pretty much destroy all of that, including the neutral zone, which is infinitely larger than the entire microcosm, which is bigger than the Xeno realm contained within the ultimate timeline, which includes their own each individual world of void per Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Then you have to factor in there are an infinite number of them, which Demigra didn't find too difficult to destroy. The thing is, I'm not going to sit there and say he could casually just snap it away from existence. But he can take care of it in one shot. And he can definitely snap universes like nothing. They're not hard for him. He can go around and give power-ups to other beings from other parts of the multiverse. Or should I say the hyperverse. So, as a result, Demigra's power, raw power in hacks, such as fate manipulation and changing the chance of you getting hit by individual attacks, energy absorption, which include regular ki and god ki, also being able to power steal and drain your life force and your energy, soul manipulation can exist outside of being erased from existence, as was Towa who was Towa to Demigra again? I forgot.
I say his servant or something.
Yeah. I forgot who Towa had a kid with. So she.
It was
Mira.
Mira.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, and we're not going to get into that. So the fact that Demigra can literally scale to these characters, who Towa, for example, off of the concept of hatred herself, she came back to life. What? It's stupid. So, I hate you, so I'm coming back. So there are a lot of questions we have to ask yourself. When it comes to this type of battle, the way I'm looking at it is Demigra has a lot more range and hacks than Ultron would, specifically because the way he scales and how casual it is for him to call forth many different fighters from different parts of the multiverse and can give him power amps and increase and absorb those amps and increase into himself. Given that he's beyond astral dimensional constructs, at least as far as the afterlife dimension goes, Demigra doesn't seem to be limited by any form of spatial dimensions that people will throw at him as well, given he went beyond the living world, where Beat's world is. There are arguments that signify that Beat's world is just a future variant of Dragon Ball, but when you play the game, it tells you to access the extra dimensional world. So even lowballing it, the extra dimensional world could be arguably up to, from what I was able to scale, from 14th dimensional, possibly even 15th to 16th. It depends solely on how you're scaling the lower dimensions of Dragon Ball Heroes. Even conservative scaling, the lowest minimum he can be is still in the lower hyperversal ranges, given the scans we've shared before. Since Garlic Jr.'s canon, the Dead Zone is canon, Aurelie being from a different alternate parallel world is canon, One Piece being below the Beats world, and the fact that they beat God Fusion Broly. When you factor all these in, Demigra has a better chance on taking the victory in this. And if we're being honest with you, the victory can go depending on how you go about it, the victory could really just honestly be a one-shot, depending on how Ultron goes about this battle in the beginning. Because if Demigra can find out all about Ultron by learning about his past and everything related to him and how he got that powerful, which he can, then it goes into question like, damn, how the hell did this battle even work? Because he can recall everything as he's done before. Even if Ultron is outside the concept of time, Demigra can still pick up some components of what you can do and your abilities. The amount of abilities Demigra has is pretty stupid, including infinite multiplier amps. So, and keep in mind, he's not limited to the very essence of where he comes from. That's why he could transcend to the Beats world. Which makes you wonder exactly, how do you fight a being who can do such a thing like that and get the edge and becoming transcendent? So in terms of raw power, I would give it to Demigra. In terms of speed, I would say Demigra's mere existence, he doesn't really care about speed because he has a range of motion that negates other dimensions, whether they're higher or lower. We're not going to say it's some out-of-versal level, but it's high enough to where I don't believe MCU Ultron has displayed anything that can go beyond the range of where Demigra can reach him at, including existence erasure and being able to literally conceptualize and create timelines itself and recreate his own concepts of death, concepts of how ki will work, because he's erasing history, which includes every aspect of energy. As we know, Hakai can erase energy. Pretty crazy that he could do something like that. So when you look at it from that perspective, Demigra literally is a god who is far beyond many things that MCU has offered to show us as of now. But that's where I would place him. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
Like for me, so I essentially like while you're going through that, I kind of like rewatched the fight between the Watcher and and Ultron, which Ultron seemed to have like it was even for a while before Ultron kind of like played dirty and got the upper hand. But it is pretty much safe to say that the Ultron Prime or Infinite Ultron, whichever you want to call him, can scale to like multiversal levels, because even he says that the powers of the multiverse mean nothing to him once he started adapting to everything.
Exactly.
So he can definitely scale to like some higher degrees, you know. Granted, he wasn't around long to see what kind of effect he would have on the entirety of the multiverse itself. But I can at least say, going off of what I saw, definitely easy like multiversal levels. But even then, Demigra is higher as of right now. You know, way higher than he is.
Yeah, even. And fortunately, we're not using the stupid out-of-versal metafictional arguments that we did before. But I mean, granted, though, they're not fallacious to use. It's just it's you know, it's meh. It can be a little redundant, because then there's so many other characters who can technically do that. But again, Dragon Ball within its lore can do that, and it depends. There's so many ways you could look at their abilities.
Exactly.
So let me go ahead and open up my program right here so I can start drawing some matchups that people are asking for, and then we could start pasting them and kind of seeing about how we want to go about these a little bit more with a better visual representation. So let's go ahead and begin with thank you so much for the question. I hope that satisfied you with the answer that we was able to give. Thank you again, Prince Boyd, for the super chat. We really appreciated helping out immensely with that. Thank you so much. So, oh, my pleasure. It's been my pleasure. I want to see. Let's see what Zay said. Yeah, the Infinity Stones, I agree, can give you similar hacks. But I think the thing is, because Demigra's raw power and scaling is a little bit more, you know, defined, it would make it a lot more difficult to really deal with it, especially because Demigra could just replicate the Infinity Stones. As again, Dragon Balls don't mean anything to him. He doesn't need them. So if the Super Dragon Balls can pretty much can recreate specific aspects and concepts of space and time and materials, I don't see why Toki Toki or Demigra would be below would be below most of the Dragon Balls used throughout the verse.
Exactly.
Yeah. ATARi, Jose Guzman. ATARi, I've said it in the Discord, but I want your opinion on Kid Buu destroyed the heaven, not killed everyone, like destroy it, like a planet. Well, not a planet, but you know what I mean. So you said, I want your opinion. Could Kid Buu destroy heaven, not kill everyone, like destroy it, like a planet? Or not a planet, but you know what I mean. He means the heaven. He means the heavens of Dragon Ball that...
Yeah, he wants to know if Kid Buu can one-shot it like he did like planets and all.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and examine this. This is a good question. I'm going to go ahead and post it right here. So can Kid Buu destroy the universe? So we got to ask ourselves immediately, what is the context of what they want us, the audience, to really understand about Kid Buu's magnitude and power? And it seems to be that Kid Buu is a character who, despite what most of us like to think, was a character who was much more than capable of destroying the Daikaio planet. The heavenly planet that you're talking about, which is much larger than the Daikaio planet, seems to indicate that he does have the capacity to destroy such a dimension, specifically because he's still a threat, even in the manga, to the Kaioshin realm. If Kid Buu can destroy the Kaioshin realm, I'm pretty sure 1/10 of the macrocosm is still greater than the actual heaven within the zone itself. But can Kid Buu one-shot it? Well, there are a lot of indications that he was straining when he tried to one-shot it in the anime, because he still had to charge it up pretty significantly. But the thing is but you still have to ask yourself, is it unreasonable for Kid Buu to be able to do something like this, especially when he's held back the Super Spirit Bomb, which again held the immeasurable strength and the components of many people throughout the entire macrocosm, because it had energy from the afterlife, though it was mostly potent. But again, they say energy from the whole universe. It's just the afterlife, the human beings, Genki, and their life force seem to be drawn by prayer, according to Daizenshu. And prayer is very hard to quantify because, I mean, what is it limited to in terms of power, right?
Exactly.
So again, the raw AP of something of Genki Damas is very difficult to really scale. I know people like to say like things like Frieza has universal durability and such, but I only disagree with that because the narrative doesn't really want us to think at that level yet. They really don't start pushing that meta until Kid Buu arrived and until Beerus arrived. That's when they start actually announcing it, like, oh yeah, he has enough power to do this. So again, it begs the question on what is he really capable of? And the way I look at it right now is I'm going to be willing to say yes. The answer is yes. I believe Kid Buu has more than enough power, like not just more than enough to destroy and wipe out the entire realm of the entire planet of heaven, which is stated to be the size of the universe itself. Now, again, does that mean he can one-shot the entire macrocosm? That's a different discussion because the macrocosm is multidimensional, but I wouldn't deny that he is capable of doing such a thing. So, again, overall, my thoughts, I think Kid Buu is much stronger than what a lot of people give him credit for. So, yeah, I would say he could.
Easily. Well, not easily, but still.
Yeah. Thank you for the question, though, by the way. I'm going to move on to the... Let's see. Let's look at our chat and see if we got another question now. Destroy, sorry. Yep. Yeah, he can. It was implied in the anime, at least. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to think he can't, considering he's supposed to be stronger than Buhan. I know a lot of people feel that's impossible because they think Goku stood a chance, but Goku himself implied he needed fusion to do it, and it's implied he took most of the Daikaio's God Ki. So when you factor, and he couldn't use God Ki in his other forms or variants, so it's pretty much implied by the Daikaio, especially because Buu's energy kept increasing even when he was in Buff Buu. So it contradicted the whole, Buff Buu was stronger. Like, no, his power never dropped. Buu would just play around with Goku. That's why Goku said, darn, I should have used Patara. I thought this would work. I tried to be cool. And Vegeta in the manga says, wait, so you're not holding back? And he's like, no. Maybe if I can hit him with a final attack. And Goku's just thinking maybe, because Goku's not even sure how strong Kid Buu really is. Because the thing about it, do you honestly think Goku can solo Vegeta, Gohan, and everyone on Earth, including the Kaioshin in the afterlife, all at once? Even as a Super Saiyan 3, I find that hard to believe he could do such a thing. And so the fact that even full power Genki, as Vegeta said, take it up to their limits. We have a fully healed Gohan. A fully healed Gohan. Why the hell would that still not be enough? That's crazy. Of course he's stronger than Buhan. I mean, yeah, of course he is. But the thing is Vegito stronger than Kid Buu? Yeah, of course he is. But again, it's like, it's hard to quantify how much stronger Kid Buu is than Buhan. You can even argue they're roughly leveled. Because Goku could sense Buhan's energy. So why would he still say, oh, you're the strongest Majin I ever fought? Because Kid Buu suppressed himself multiple times. He literally was having fun with the whole battle. So overall, absolutely, Kid Buu checks out in this discussion to be able to do it. ATARi, how would Xeno Goku versus the anti-spiral go down? Ooh. Also, thank you, Beyond Birthday. I like that. Let's go ahead and highlight this here. ATARi, how would Xeno Goku versus the anti-spiral go down? All right, so we got to understand a couple of things about the anti-spiral. Okay, so one thing we have to understand immediately about the anti-spiral is what type of being is the anti-spiral, okay? Is the anti-spiral a concept of ideas and dimensionality and time? Or is he a being that is beyond that sentiently? That's the question. Now, you said Xeno Goku, so this is going to be a little bit more interesting. So, in this case of this battle, I'm willing to bet that Xeno Goku, based on what he could resist and based on what he can do and react to, is definitely going to have more than enough power to compete with the anti-spiral. But we need to now ask ourselves, how? How would he interact with the anti-spiral? Well, Xeno Goku, I'm sure most of us can agree. I'm pretty sure most of us can agree. Xeno Goku doesn't really care about space-time or breathing in space. I don't think he has a trouble with that. Unless you think outside of time has oxygen.
Yeah, no. No, he time and space definitely does not bother him whatsoever.
Right.
He travels out of timelines before.
Yeah, like it's his daily job. Well, wait, it is his daily job. So now we have to ask ourselves, how hard would Xeno Goku have to truly try? So we need a scenario. Let's say the anti-spiral looks at most of the macrocosm. So the anti-spiral is a 12th dimensional being, okay? And you can even argue in some cases because of where he sits at, he could be even stronger. But as a being who exists in 12 spatial dimensions, the essence of his actual power is hard to fathom when his abilities can hit on many different levels. So now we have to ask ourselves, how does this work against Xeno Goku? Well, as we know, the Dragon Ball multiverse doesn't have labeled dimensions, so it becomes really difficult to actually get the answer we're looking for. But we need to know that Xeno Goku, as everything I said Demigra can do, Xeno Goku scales even beyond that in base form. So when you factor that in, what do you really think a low hyperversal being is going to do to someone whose day job is to take out mid hyperversal beings in base? I'm using reasonable scaling rather than using the metafiction transcendency. But if the regular universe in Dragon Ball is just 3D, the other portion is 4D, this Room of Spirit and Time is a parallel equivalent or separate world on that. So the living world, which is not part, the Room of Spirit and Time is not part of the living world, people. Well, it is and it isn't. But the living world itself sits on what we would assume, at least for this continuity, since it's above the dead zone of Garlic Jr., in some cases, it could sit, the whole living world, which contains all below it, could literally be based on the idea that there are multiple dimensional layers. So when we see many-fold dimensions, when we use the term many, we have couple, which is 2, few, which is 3, many, which is, several, which is 4, and many, which is 5. If we say we add 5 more dimensions on there, that's 8th dimensional. But let's lowball, guys. Let's say that many dimensional layers just means it's a 5th dimensional concept of the regular living world. Okay, cool. In turn, that makes the afterlife 6th dimensional, right? And then the entire living world that contains everything 7th dimensional. Cool. Well, as we know, there are multiple worlds, of this. The neutral zone in between it would have to be 8th dimensional. Xeno's world would be accordingly 9th. The timeline itself would be 10th, of course, containing it all. And the infinite number of timelines would be 11th dimensional. Now, this may seem like, doesn't that mean he's one step below the anti-spiral? Well, here's the problem. We're not done yet. You see, because the truth is we have the dragon realm and many other realms. We can't quantify those. But even an infinite amount of timelines, which is the 11th dimensional and quantification of Dragon Ball standards, how does that really work out when we talk about the crack of time? Because the crack of time is not necessarily the same. You see, no matter how many infinite different universes you get, GT Goku is a different Goku. So the way Xenoverse seems to imply is that each crystal is a containment of history, which means each crystal has an infinite amount of history. So there's an infinite subset of 11th dimensional subsets within the crack of time, depending on how you want to interpret the idea of what it's supposed to represent. Because again, it's beyond that brown golden space that Trunks and them traveled through, because a time machine that Trunks uses, you can't access the crack of time in that time machine that Trunks uses. So it must be telling us the continuity of infinities within each individual, subset of universes is completely separate from the crack of time, which exceeds all of that. Make sense?
Yep.
So if that's the case, let's get an image of crack of time. Let's get an image of it. The crack of time, many people think that these are timelines. But the question comes down to, if these are timelines, Trunks doesn't travel between this. No, this is a realm beyond that. In fact, when you look at the true core of how it's supposed to be a dimension separated from the flow of time in all timelines. Yet it interconnects everything. And this includes all aspects. So let's ask a question. No matter how many events change in one timeline, GT continuity doesn't have a Beerus, technically. Otherwise, they would mention it. But it doesn't. Why? So does that mean that the GT continuity is part of its own subset of infinite timelines as well? How does this really work out? And that's what really begs the question. That's why people have been speculating that the crack of time is greater than the infinite nexus of all time rings, because these aren't in the form of rings anymore. This is even greater. This is a greater scale because it's beyond space and time. What do you guys think of that so far?
Can't really argue against that because the series itself makes it literally quite clear within Xenoverse, so, and Heroes, and pretty much everything. So yeah, I can't argue against it.
What do you think, Andre?
Seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah, because again, the crack of time is beyond the white pseudo-space that we see. It's always supposed to be, because it's stated to be outside of the multiverse. The multiple universes that Trunks travels to, and that is still part of the multiverse, because Zamasu can flow in between that. But Zamasu cannot access the crack of time. So it has to be a higher dimensionality of existence. So even with conservative scaling, it would be 12th dimensional. But now we start to think to ourselves, so now what? Well, Toki Toki is implied to be beyond all of this, because all of this exists within a greater Xenoverse, which the Xenoverse is all of creation of the Dragon Ball, Super Dragon Ball Heroes continuity itself, which includes One Piece. So if you think the Xenoverse is still just 12th dimensional, we got to have a talk. So overall, keeping it conservative, let's ignore the Xenoverse argument for the time being. Let's just say all of the Xenoverse exists as the essence of the crack of time. Let's say the crack of time is the Xenoverse, even though there's something that contains it all. Even with the Xenoverse, Beat's world transcends that. That's in the game. It's very much stated. It's the real world. Let's say it's not metafictional. Let's just say it goes beyond where it is. Beat's world still holds the flow of time normally. As a conceptual world, it doesn't act like a interdimensional abstract realm or dimension like the lower places in Dragon Ball, but it acts as a place that treats the lower essence as fiction. It's kind of like if there were two-dimensional beings who were destroying multiple universes into two-dimensionality, and we as three-dimensional beings are unaware of it, it's because they're so infinitesimally small to us, it doesn't matter. So there are many ways you can interpret how this may change the perspective, but Beat's world could ultimately be 13th to 14th dimensional because there is a timeline that contains Beat's world as they have to flow through an essence of existence through time, a higher temporal. As a result, because, obviously there's time in Beat's world. So as a result, you're looking at the ensemble of 14th dimensional base Xenogoku. 13th to 14th dimensional base Xenogoku. So in this battle, Goku has two infinities greater than the anti-spiral in most cases. Even if we try to stay a little more conservative and give Anti-Spiral a little bit of a chance, it still begs the question, like, well, how much of, everything can the Anti-Spiral deal with? Like, because how can he hurt someone who can tank it all? Xeno Goku can tank the multiverse's destruction. Because him transforming is already a threat to the multiverse. Guys, what do you think about this?
Yeah. Okay, honestly, when it comes to like the anti-spiral and all, I know that people like put him as like being like super powerful, which he obviously is, but putting him up against Xeno Goku, or really any version of Goku within the Heroes or Xeno universe at this point, is just kind of insane, personally. That would be like me putting, freaking Geese against Xeno Goku. That's not ending well for one of those parties, and we know who that party is. Same goes for Anti-Spiral. He's strong, yes. But he's not Dragon Ball Xenoverse strong. Dragon Ball Xenoverse is just... It's crackhead Dragon Ball, essentially. When it comes to its power scaling.
Yeah. I mean, remember Gohan. Oh, your soul has been reaped. I'm gonna kill Pan. What? Punch him right in the face. What the hell? Bro, you don't
exactly.
You're not alive. It doesn't matter. Bro, I reaped your soul. It doesn't matter. You don't exist. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Freaking, you had Hearts who's sitting here like who's sitting there plotting to kill freaking, Xeno.
Yeah. Hearts is yeah.
Like, I don't know what your way to tell you. Xeno would erase the anti-spiral.
Yeah.
Canon Xeno or freaking, Xeno versus Xeno, so...
Yeah, because Canon Xeno is a little more difficult because I think he would peak at 10th or 11th. He'd peak at 11th dimensional because he's scaled. Well, he'd be equal to him.
But yeah, so it's like... Because he's erasing multiple macrocosms. So... And if we assume that they're all the same, then they all have, like, multiple to, if you go off of what Koyama says, possibly infinite dimensions within them. So, no, I think he'd actually scale technically even higher.
Yep.
After erasing all of that.
Exactly.
So, oh, man, I don't... IDK, Cosmic Armor, Xeno Goku. Wow. Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, no. I'll let you finish. But yeah, no. This isn't a fair. I mean, okay, maybe it is a fair fight, but it's. I don't know.
I feel like Xeno Goku is going to just have a little bit of trouble with Anti-Spiral once Anti-Spiral start using his amazing extra dimensional hacks. But Xeno Goku is going to know this is crazy. Xeno Goku is going to know this is a threat to the crack of time. I got to step it up now. Yeah, and that's it. It's over. As soon as he goes Super Saiyan 1, pop. Or as soon as he just powers up his usual aura. I'm just drawing Super Saiyan 4 Goku because it's one of the best designs of all time for Super Saiyan next to Ultra Instinct. But anyway, let's move on. Xeno Goku solos? Absolutely. Even regular Goku would have some potential hacks that might prove to be fatal to the Anti-Spiral because we don't know if the Anti-Spiral has resistance to existence erasure. So even canonical Goku, who scales to 9th dimensional, is still like, he's not going to be easy to take out. Like, do you think people think the Anti-Spiral's 12th dimensionality is going to just let him Thanos snap people? It's not. It doesn't really work like that. He has to put in some effort, to a degree.
Exactly.
Let's see. Cosmic Armor. All right, let's go to the next question. All right, ATARi. Koyama states Xeno Goku. Statement Xeno Goku. Oh, Koyama state? No, hell no. If we use Koyama statements for Xeno Goku, he waxes. Krillin. Xeno Krillin waxes. So yeah, we use Koyama statements. Even Xeno Krillin's gonna say, "All right, here we go, Goku." And Beat's gonna be like, "Yo, take this card." Oh wait, what's it do? It gives you an infinite multiplier. Oh, appreciate it, Beat. Cans on. And then it's just like, bro. Canon Goku is 9D. Absolutely, Keaton. He is ninth dimensional. Well, keep in mind, anime Canon Goku is ninth dimensional. Specifically because the Infinite Zamasu scaling rank. Infinite Zamasu is an absolute dog monster in the anime. But outside of the anime, I wouldn't put him anywhere near ninth dimensional at all. So again, the anime and manga are just two completely different beasts. I mean, look at what Frieza threatened to destroy in the manga versus what he destroyed in the 90s anime. The anime has always been cracked. You know, like how do you destroy? Like you got to think about the difference between a galaxy level explosion versus a large star level explosion. Like the difference is so crazy. If I destroy 10 stars right now that are a large star level, you wouldn't even see a pixel of it from a zoomed out view from the Milky Way. It'd be so tiny. You'd need a microscope. So it depends. What do you think about Hado gods? ATARi, what do you think about Zeus's infinite speed from the record of Ragnar? Where do you scale Fairy Tail? Zeus's infinite speed, I need the scan and context on it. If I can get the scan.
Stride's here.
Hey, welcome, Stride. How you doing?
Yes. I have returned.
Manga Goku, I don't want to spoil where Manga Goku scales, but I will tell you this. It's definitely not going to be something too crazy. It's going to be very reasonable, very sensible, but it's still going to be extremely powerful, a lot more than what most people think. Definitely beyond galaxy level. But I would say that Manga Goku, in my assessment, based on what I've seen him do, is I'm going to say he's in the realm. Let's just say he's strong enough to fight Superboy Prime without all feats included, at least for the most
Bare
part.
minimum macrocosm busting level.
Basically.
Also,
Already in that?
Yeah. Let's see. Have you read the Reginus Shockwave from Transforming IDW Comics? He can change a concept like Death and Changes. That's really interesting. If you could change a concept of Death, that kind of reminds me of the Toriko Minority World. So that's going to be interesting. What's up, LeBron James? Yo, appreciate you for stopping by. How's that? You plan on getting that 5th ring, right? The GOAT. It's a GOAT. Can't believe.
Yo, Zay, you think Dark Schneider can beat DBS Goku, but can you beat Goku, though? Can you actually beat Goku? Come on, bro. Be honest.
How do you prove Xeno?
You think you could square up to Son Goku?
How do you prove Xenogoku is above 4D? Well, I mean, it's easy. You look at the context of what they're destroying, and you understand the consensualization of what dimensions mean. Rather it be a dimensional tiering system, or rather it means arbitrary spatial dimensions. The whole basic, even without any data book statements, Xenogoku would still be at least low complex, period. So again, it's all about that, you know? Yeah, Zay views Goku as fiction. Let's see here. I think Dark Schneider can beat DBS Goku. Well, I mean, regular anime Goku, I don't know. The reason I say I don't know is because Dark Schneider is a very interesting comic where the concepts of how they treat dimensionality in astral dimensions are a little bit similar to Ming Hao, where characters go beyond the 4th dimension and 5th and 6th and many more because they're beyond material. They're not even physical anymore. They're just ideas almost to a degree. So depending on how you're looking at Majin Dark Schneider can depend on how the battle is. But remember, Infinite Zamasu was beyond astralism because he was no longer a spirit alone, but a concept of justice itself, or his own idea, because he transcended the afterlife. So when we look at it that perspective, Goku's ki can still go beyond that in the anime. So, and Jiren can still glare that away. Why? I don't know. I didn't make I didn't make up Jiren. He's busted. So depending on how you look at it, can literally change the entire outcome of the battle. But I am not a stranger to saying that Dark Schneider is not going to get waxed. I can tell you he's not going to get waxed. Even if he's fighting anime Goku, he's going to make anime Goku be like, God damn, this dude just hit me an infinite amount of times. It's like, yeah, he did. How do you feel? I'm still getting hit right now. It's like, well, how you gonna fight that? I don't know, man. My durability can't tank that. I have to resist existence erasure just to deal with it. Like, it's such a wonky battle because it's like, can Goku dodge that? I mean, yeah, he can move fast enough with Kaioken to see it as a standstill, But then it comes down to, yeah, it's a standstill, but there are fists that are already everywhere. So he already got hit. So even if he can move beyond that, Snyder's still punching him in the face. The question is Snyder's punch, which are Big Bang level each, going to kill Goku? Well, again, considering Goku could take sixth dimensional punches constantly from fifth dimensional, sixth dimensional constant punches from Beerus, then, you know. I think let's see here. Would Tenchi Muyo be the perfect match for Goku to meet the equivalent of being a lot of 16th dimensional entities like the Chosen exist in that story? Kami Tenchi being on top. Well, Thor's hammer, it comes down to really like what is the evidence for Tenchi Muyo being to the 16th dimensional degree? Because most of what the versus battle has concluded in the actual anime doesn't really indicate that Tenchi is actually beyond that. They have multiple dimensions via Boisonic theory, you can argue, but the question is, do their dimensions infinitely transcend the next? And it's hard to really consider that because you have this dimensional supervisor 3D who's not infinitely below 5D. So it goes to ask you, like, are they infinitely above others, or do they just have different dimensions they watch over? It's kind of like in some cases a Crash Bandicoot where like there's a Crash Bandicoot in kind of like DC where there are the ninth dimension, but it's not the ninth dimension. It's just labeled like a numeric dimension of existence, which, don't get me wrong, Crash Bandicoot has scaling to those, potential multiverse plus levels, but we're just talking like numerical. So we got to be careful with numerical numbers that are thrown through other fictions. Xeno Goku remember, Dragon Ball doesn't use any numbers to get their dimensional scaling. We just have to use axiomatic information, like self-evident information to scale them according to the algorithm presented by the versus battle community. So then we move on to Zay. I think Dark Schneider wins because he has the Spellbound, which is countless amount of barriers that protect you from pretty much everything. The barrier also regenerate in an instant. He threw an infinite amount of punches in an instant. Yeah, exactly. But then the question still comes down to, like, if we're using anime Goku, what infinityism is Dark Schneider attacking on? And that's the question, because if it's just 3-dimensional, how does Goku deal with that? Well, Ultra Instinct has extra dimensional speed, so you might not be able to even tag Ultra Instinct. Even beings who are beyond space-time itself can get tagged. So it's a really hard to answer question, because it's like, well, does Dark Schneider even have the ability to react to a serious Goku? Because Goku's going to test the waters with him. But the Spellbound, despite its power, how much of the techniques Goku uses can it dispel before Goku just outpowers it overall? Because that's the question. It comes down to that, because despite the dimensionality that Dark Schneider shares, there are aspects that kind of imply there's beyond concepts of dimensions, but then there's also ideas in astralism, which Goku can go beyond that because he could kill beings who can do that. I mean, would you guys say Infinite Zamasu has finite speed? I wouldn't say he does.
Whoever says that, I would question their sanity.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, he has finite speed, bro. He only has finite speed, guys. Come on, get your head in the game.
Yeah. So
all right.
So it's a very difficult question to answer, honestly. I have to say, the hacks of that type of ability really goes to show. Because again, like, it's hard to know, did Dark Schneider actually throw infinite punches in the instant itself, or infinite punches of infinity itself? The difference is, I'll go ahead and sketch it for you. And we're going to use this example. We're going to use this guy, character A. So character A just throws a bunch of punches. He throws an infinite amount of punches within an instant. An instant doesn't have... Are we talking about a literal instant or a figurative instant? Because an instant could be in a short amount of time. So depending on how that is interpreted versus, a true infinity amount of punches that he's throwing, how is that really going to be taken? Because if he's throwing an infinite amount of punches in the instant, that means within that instant, an infinite amount of attacks had come. And that means once that instant is over, the punches has stopped. Then you have, he threw an infinite amount of punches. Well, infinity is infinity. That means it's not going to stop. So you are going to be attacked perpetually forever. So then you have to ask yourself, did he attack infinitely times in an instant? Or did he attack infinitely amount and the guy got hit until the essence of infinity or eternity stopped. How does that work? Well, here's the thing. When you read the scan, you know, it really makes you wonder, can Dark Snyder do something like that? Like, can he punch you and then you will be getting hit infinitely throughout all of history, throughout all the time? Like, no matter what you do. Well, let's look at the context of the scan. First and foremost, let's look at the scan itself, then its context. So, as we see here, let's go ahead. They stopped. Did they tie? They're killing each other. These two monsters are instantly exchanging infinite attacks and counters. So you have to ask yourself, is this perpetual infinity, or is this something that is happening beyond the general means of space-time? So in the perspective of these humans, it appears to be infinite punches and counters. Because how can he tell it's infinite punches if you can't even count them? Did he count in infinity? Or is it just in a perspective that he knows that they're beyond space and time? You know what I mean? Because the reason I'm going to say, based on what I'm seeing, the reason I'm going to say that it's likely going to be the first essence where it's an infinite amount of punches within an instant, but not this, is because the fight does end eventually. In essence of that, it's not going to be like the true infinity that, you know, like punching. It's kind of hard to fathom, but imagine if somebody punched you an infinite number of times. Well, when did those punches happen in that instant? And the punches happen later, because then it comes into a bunch of other questions. Let me ask you this, Stride. Let's ask you a question. Let's say, Stride, you have an infinite amount of, let's say, Stride, you have universal plus durability, but someone who's a three-dimensional, say, planet buster threw out an infinite amount of punches at you. Is that infinite amount of punches going to eventually equate to your universe plus status? Is it even going to damage you? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Right. So you have to really question into what level of the infinity is it on in order to see, like, is this really going to take out Goku? Now,
It's like, yeah, it's like, say you throw an infinite amount of, like, let's say, building level punches at someone who's a multiverse plus buster.
right. It don't matter. How's that going to hurt someone? Especially when Goku is laughing at macrocosmic punches. They're coming at him, getting hit billions of times within seconds because him and Beerus are how fast they are. And shockwaves that traverse dimensionality and infinities. How do we go about that? So the question is, it comes down to, now here's how I'm going to conclude this battle in my humble assessment. If Dark Snyder is fighting a Goku who's going to, I'm going to test the waters, versus a Dark Snyder who's fighting a serious, Super Saiyan Blue, I'm going to protect my universe type of Goku, like a Goku who's like, I'm going to protect the universe. That's where it's really going to come down to. Because Goku tries to test the waters with him, he could still win, but 9 times out of 10, he is going to get bodied, but depending on the variables. Because the way Dark Snyder fights, he's not going to care about Goku trying to test the waters. But the question is, can Goku sense that bad malice? Can Goku sense the evil aura coming from him? Goku's going to know immediately, damn, this guy is no joke. I got to tap into you. I have to immediately go Super Saiyan Blue. Or at least Super Saiyan God. And go crazy on him. And that is really where it's going to come down to. Either that or Ultra Instinct. So it really comes down to, does Dark Snyder start off the fight with just like, I'm about to whoop this boy's ass? Or does it start off with Goku saying, no games. And Goku's like pissed. So, like, a better matchup would be Blue Evolution Vegeta, in my opinion. Or Jiren. Because Goku, this is a bad matchup. That's why, despite Goku being far stronger than Snyder, there's a lot of pieces of hacks and evidence that Snyder can use to body Goku. But can he beat MUI Goku? Well, probably not. Definitely not. But is Goku going to go MUI? No. But is Vegeta going to go Blue Evolution once he senses his power? Yeah. Is Jiren going to sit there and let Snyder get as powerful as he can? No, Jiren's just going to be like, oh, okay, that's what you are. He's just going to glare him away. Goku's not going to start the battle off full power, but Jiren is, and Jiren's just not. Jiren is not going to care as well. So as much as I think Dark Schneider can beat Goku, yeah, you guys heard it. ATARi thinks Dark Schneider can beat Goku. It's not due to the fact that he's stronger than Goku. It's because his hacks just allow him a better edge in the battle than Goku. But if he fights someone like Jiren, I don't think he's going to come out victorious. Because Jiren negates hacks with his raw power output. And Jiren is not going to try to test the waters. He's going to see how strong he is. He's going to whoop his ass immediately. He's like, oh, I could throw infinite punches. I don't give a what you can do. You honestly think that I care about that? Fourth dimensional attacks don't even bother me. And hit can stop all of time. And Jiren's like, I don't care. I'm beyond the concept of time. So it really comes down into like, how the battle is like perceived in that case. So I think Dark Schneider, I kind of agree with you. Dark Schneider does have an edge against Goku, but it's not due to raw power. And this is what we mean by like, when it comes to versus battles, there are just some matchups that you have to change the condition for certain characters to win. Because is it possible for Naruto to beat, let's say Ichigo? Is it possible for Naruto to beat Ichigo if he catches Ichigo off guard with a truth-seeking orb? Yeah, but is Ichigo going to let that happen? No, Ichigo's not Goku, and he's certainly not Saitama. He's not going to sit there and be like, well, look at that. What is that? Let's touch it. So that's the way I'm going to be looking at this battle. I mean, this is not the best picture of Jiren I can draw, but I would say this matchup I would definitely save for someone like Jiren. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, Jiren.
In terms of hacks, Dark Schneider has that in spades. Crazy the amount of abilities that dude.
Yeah, the thing is, it's still like. Oh no, I was just gonna say the thing is about abilities is it all comes down to like, how do they work? You know, because then you ask yourself, what if Naruto hit Yuha with the truth-seeking orb? Is he gonna erase Yuha immediately out of existence? Because erase souls. Was that going to stop Yuha from regenerating from a different alternate timeline? Probably not. What do you think?
Definitely not.
Yeah. So it comes down to like, how in the context do these attacks work? And I'm not denying Dark Schneider can't definitely put up a fight, but in the context of how this battle will work out, I don't know, man. I'm definitely going to give the edge to Jiren if I were to switch it. But in a battle versus Goku, Goku is stronger, but Goku would lose just because the way his character is. Unless later on they give us an idea of Goku being able to just say, this guy's no joke, I got to take this seriously. So it really depends on the matter. It's just because Goku's type of fighting. Thank you, IDK. I didn't even name all his abilities because he asked me. Oh, yeah, don't worry, Zay. I'm aware of a lot of the abilities he has.
That guy.
He got a lot. He has a lot of abilities. But then again, the thing is, it's kind of like Naijimu from Midaka. How does his ability stack up against someone who is so infinitely stronger than him? You know? Because let me ask you this. Let's take all of Yuha's hacks, and let's take some of Demigra's hacks, and then let's try to use it against, and let's take all of Shinra's hacks, and let's just say, oh yeah, let's take all these guys and Dark Schneider, and let's just throw him up against, freaking what's that character's name again? Let's just throw them all against Batman Who Laughs, or no, not Batman Who Laughs. You know what? Lucifer Morningstar. It was like, damn it. or even better yet, the Hulk. Unrestrained Hulk. Fully restricted, unrestrained Hulk. Because this is something I didn't tell you guys about the Hulk. And we were going to mention it the last stream, but we didn't have time. What if I told you the Hulk is so stupid? He's what if I tell you the Hulk is beyond 5D and 6D and 7.25D?
God.
Does that make sense to you? Have you heard of that before? Probably not. But Marvel's multiverse has decimal dimensions. So if there's literally such thing as a 2.655 dimension, and it's literally a dimension of the number of pi. Like literally. The amount of mathematical equations you can surmise and come up with is how many universes they have. I mean, dimensions they have. And we're talking spatial, because they literally say it's spatial and beyond certain concepts. And the dark dimension, which the Hulk was threatening to destroy, yeah. So then it asks, like, how are they going to hurt someone who doesn't care about most of the... Because even characters like the Ironclad, when he was he was repelling the Hulk. And, you know, other characters with mini hacks, Hulk doesn't care. It's like the same thing with Jiren. His key energy is not going to care about many of the hacks and abilities. So that's really what it comes down to. So we have to really look at it from that perspective, and that it's a little bit, it's not as simple as just, you know, hey, I got all these hacks, so I win. Because Kaguya, how many hacks does Kaguya have in Naruto, bro?
Crap ton.
Exactly. But do you think, let me ask you guys, do you think Kaguya is going to beat Superboy Prime?
No.
Nah,
Anyone
hell
who thinks
no.
Kaguya is going to beat Superboy Prime... Nah, whoever thinks that needs to go into an insane asylum.
Should catch you once at teeth, bro.
Oh, what about the Izanagi and like Superboy Prime? Don't care about any of that. When you're at a higher dimensional, you perceive these things as fodder. So an honest, serious Jiren is going to perceive most of these attacks as weak sauce, and he's just going to go ham. Goku though, I agree with. I will tell you, Zay, Goku definitely can beat Jiren. I mean, sorry. Well, we know that, but Goku can definitely lose to Dark Snyder for sure. But again, I just want to make it clear. It's like if we had Saitama versus Naruto, Truth-Seeking Orbs. Saitama's physically stronger than Naruto. I don't think we can deny that. But Saitama's too silly, and his speed compared to Naruto is so much slower that if Naruto catches him with a Truth-Seeking Orb, it's GG. But if Naruto was... Yeah, when Naruto uses that against, like, Frieza, who could resist Hakai, how's that going to work out? It's not going to be fun. He's going to be pissed. He's going to be mad. He's going to get bodied. If he throws Truth-Seeking Orb at, like we said, Yuha, what's going to stop Yuha from saying, oh, all right, bet. There we go. Thanks for, I'm going to get another arm. And, yeah, that attack ain't going to work again. Oh, yeah? Yeah, don't worry. I already encountered, like, all 175,000 different variants that you're going to attack me in, so you're dead. Boop. Now, it might not be that easy. Okay, actually, it might be. But anyway, it depends. Let me think about another good versus battle. I think that was a good versus battle because it goes to show that hacks don't mean anything depending on in character. Because, like, if nobody has intel, the battle can go south. Like, if Yujiro fought Batman without prep time, Yujiro will one-shot Batman. Yujiro Hama will deck him in his chest. He'll be like... But if Batman knows who Yujiro Hanma is through his research, he'll mollywop Yujiro. The dude dodged an Omega Beam, so don't ask. I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
Because it's Batman.
Remember KLK? Kill La Kill? Well, in the final chapter 24, there's a Zoom Zeketsu biofibers, which we see there is loops of universes. That's what I'm saying. Those are microcosms, by the way, Maestro. Those would be microcosms, which goes to show that if it has a microcosmic level of durability, it goes to show that life fibers are a lot more durable than what most people think, especially at the end game. Next time, in Marvel, we may have Grand hands number infinite above infinite dimensions, which will become a thing. I agree. What about the star meta for Saitama? Okay, so the star meta about Saitama is a little weird. You see, because Saitama isn't necessarily weak, and I think he can be star level. I don't see a reason him not to be, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be casual. I think it's going to be his max power output is going to be what puts him on that level. So, and the only reason I'm betting this is because Saitama is, based on how they made his character, he is not someone... I mean, there's a lot of like animations online, fan-mades that like to make him fight universal beings and all types of stuff. But in reality, we don't really know how strong he actually is, for sure. And because of that, we're not going to go ahead and assume we know how strong. Because by that logic, we don't know how strong the Grand Priest is. Should we assume he could fight the Living Tribunal? No. Calm down.
Sure, why not? I mean, we don't have evidence, but sure, why not?
So, again, depending on the context is going to depend on the overall result of the battle. So, depending on how we go about it is going to pretty much signify everything. The thing about Saitama's verse is he's not just amazingly strong, but most of the characters, it's also comedic. Most of the people he fight are kind of always overestimating him because of how he looks.
Underestimating him.
Oh, yeah, underestimating him. Sorry. So, it really comes down to, well, how would the battle actually work out? Well, I don't know. Who is Saitama fighting? And what is the context? If Saitama is fighting someone like Madara, I could see him beating Madara. In certain contexts of Madara saying, is this all you... Boom! He's just going to catch him one time, deck Madara in the chest. Madara's going to be 10 times more damaged than when he fought Guy. Hundreds of times. He's going to be like, oh, shit, damn! Oh, you're really strong. Let's go! And then Saitama's going to be like, okay. So depending on Saitama's mood, like if Saitama's like, I'm getting pissed off with you, he could beat Madara before Madara has time to even do most of his things. But if Madara is just like, he's strong, I can't underestimate him, it's over for Saitama now. Because now, well, ocular jutsu. But again, it's kind of hard because didn't Saitama resist specific hacks with his power alone? Because I recall he did that with Tatsumaki, right?
Well, yeah, I think he could resist like telekinesis and I think maybe mind reading. I'm not entirely sure. Don't remember.
In anime, he can resist high levels of gravity manipulation. But Murata even himself confirmed, I don't think he's actually as strong as a real black hole. That's too powerful. But he definitely is very strong. He's not stronger than Boros, though. So again, he has to be within reason, you know? And again, we have to think about it. Boros can scale from somewhere destroying the Earth. Or he could destroy something. Oh, you guys got to see this. Hold on, let me show you the scan. Or he could destroy a planet like this. Yeah. You see that? Do you see that? Do you see all those freaking rings? So we don't know if Boros is the limitation. Because if we're talking planet ranges, that includes that. That's star level right there. If you could destroy all of the debris surrounding the planet, granted, it's not as dense, but the magnitude, and meaning the gravity of that planet is immense. The Roche limit is insane. So could you imagine? Ridiculous.
It's madness.
Yeah.
Madness, I say. Madness.
So depending on the context, Boros can definitely scale to extremely high levels if he could destroy large... Ouch. If he could destroy large planets at his peak. If he starts off and he's not tired, it's possible. Otherwise, let's not get out of hand. So that's where I would place Saitama and the meta. Sorry, how do you make an OP character likable? Oh, Jopo, you have to give him a lot of reasoning. The best way to make an OP character likable... Saitama's OP in his own right, and he's likable because he has certain levels of limitations. As long as a character has limitations that are either hilarious or within reason, it makes them very enjoyable within the story. Mary Sues are characters who can pretty much do anything they want depending on the plot. Medaka Box is literally the parody of a Mary Sue. So that's why a lot of people, and the only reason why people enjoy her is because Opie. We'll just say that. I'm gonna keep it honest. That's the reason why most people enjoy Medaka. They don't enjoy.
That's the reason why I remember her.
Yeah, and granted, the story is still pretty hilarious, but that's what makes her likable. Is her boobs. All right, that's it. Everything else, it's not within reason. A character who can be enjoyable and likable, Orochi. What makes Orochi enjoyable is because Orochi can be sealed. Okay? So yep. He has limitations despite being a god of the verse, but his limitations aren't because he's weak, it's because the way the story is structured around his being, his essence. And because they did it like that, it overall makes him really interesting because he's rare. That's what makes him likable. He's rare, and he attacks from the shadows. And we know that nobody can defeat him, but because of something on him, that's the reason why he doesn't just like transcend beyond that. So it all comes down to how the story is written. These are how certain characters can be likable despite being very powerful.
You know, there's also their personality and things like that as well, you know.
Mm-hmm. Like Orochi loves the earth. He's a good guy. Kinda. Anti-hero, more like it, right?
I'll say the anti-hero, more or less. He would like humans more if they respect nature a lot more. That's just about it.
Wow, so a hyperversal being doesn't like us? Why? Because you destroy the world. Wait, he can destroy multiverse. Shut up. He only cares about Earth. Why? The reason why is because it's the same reason why humans can be so caught up and focus on the life experiences of bugs and the world they live in versus the actual bigger world that they control. So, for example, let's say we're looking at a bunch of microscopic creatures. From their perspective, the world is absolutely abysmally huge. But to us, their world we can crush with just a press of our finger. You know what I mean? So to them, we're gods. And it's like we're focused. It's like that's kind of how Orochi is. He's like, I'm going to look at Earth because the way Earth happens to be the most convenient planet with all this life form, all this vegetation. He knows about the entirety of the universe. So for him to sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to go focus on another place of a dead, boring planet. No, he's like, I love the Earth. It's beautiful. It's creatures and all that. How everything is just trying to do its own thing. But then it's like, oh, humans are idiots. So you know what? I don't care. That pisses me off. Boom. And it's like the fact that he could destroy the planet with so much as blowing his nose is hilarious, but he doesn't want to. It's kind of like Sensui, but more OP. So yep. That's exactly how you make certain characters likable in certain degrees, because you know, despite how powerful he is, he doesn't care about displaying it unless you piss him off enough. So
not only that, the Earth was created by his favorite person in the world because he's a big mama's boy, Gaia.
Exactly. Keaton asks, when are you going to make a definitive anime Goku power scaling video? Honestly, I've kind of already did that. The way I look at it, a definitive anime power scaling Goku is going to probably be done once the series is over at this point. Because if I do one now, then we might miss out on some stuff that might come up later. So we want to wait. At least for me. I've heard Seth say in his Goku video that Goku or Jiren in the top could have low levels of immeasurable powers by the way you interpret it. I mean, of course, their powers are not something you can measure when it's beyond dimensionality in certain areas. But, again, Seth is trying to approach it with a very high-level narrative level, rather than looking at every single individual feat, depending. But I can't say for sure. Let me see another one. Where do you... and that's why Medaka simps think that she could be Goku. I mean, again... Medaka has a lot of abilities, but how would those abilities work in a Dragon Ball verse when Goku scales beyond anything Medaka Box has shown? How do we go about that? Even Medaka's even in Shonen Jump Warriors, Medaka's weaker than Goku. She's mad that she wasn't in the game, and she's still weaker than the main villain. So it's like, how does that work? How strong is God? Maestro, which God? Who are you talking about?
One Punch Man.
Well, I want to ask him just in case, because I don't know the context. He could literally be asking about a different god from something else. But just in case. How about accelerated imaginary vectors versus Master Instinct Goku?
That's your instinct.
I don't know the limit of accelerated vectors. Because when Goku can attack beings who don't operate in vectors, like Infinite Zamasu, I don't think Goku will have the trouble attacking Accelerator at all. And I don't think he'll have a hard time reacting to wherever Accelerator attacks him from. Because he has out-of-dimensional speeds, depending on where the Accelerator attacks. Because what if Accelerator is limited to 4D? Because nobody has ever brought up any scans of Accelerator being like this hyperversal being. They just assume he can. The imaginary vectors, okay, imaginary versus real, that's not quantifiable. Do we assume the imaginary space on Archie Sonic is out-of-versal? No. Do we assume the imaginary space in, Ramiro Tempest out-of-versal? No. We have to use reason. And from what I've seen, Accelerator, I don't think he's going to get past Goku's defenses. Depending on how the fight starts, Goku's immediately going to blitz him, because that's just how MUI is built. There's no joking in that form. So Goku wins that battle, no difficulty. And I would say the same thing about Dark Schneider. If Goku starts off, it's MUI, it's over. Snap of a finger. It's literally over. One shot. The characters cease to exist. There's nothing nothing they can do to counter him, because they already have been attacked before the battle even started. Because Goku's perception on how fast he can move in MUI, you can't quantify it. It's crazy. And Xeno. Is Xeno in terms of existence above 4D? And if you could explain how, because we saw in the anime second Xeno exists. So Xeno has fourth dimensional level. So let's talk about it like this. Xeno has dimensions of power, but he himself is a dimensional being. And despite being a dimensional being and having a football head like Hey Arnold, he is a very powerful being who can pretty much just say bye to your entire universe. So it really, Xeno is a three-dimensional, or he's in essence under a three-dimensional body that can go beyond his actual scope. Because remember what he did to Infinite Zamasu. He has no way, there's no reason he wouldn't be able to destroy you if he didn't feel like it.
Yeah, pretty much. Zamasu got straight up murked.
So there's that. Hey, ATARi, what percent do you think Goku used when he casually clashed with Beerus before Goku using his full power? Honestly, I still think it was around 60%, if I recall that's what he said, or 80%. But the thing is, Goku kept getting stronger and stronger, so his 80% later became like a 5%. You know what I mean? As the battle progressed. So Goku versus Beerus is just he's just built different, you know. He exceeded levels that many people didn't think would be replicated in a moving fiction. Because not many other characters destroy universes like that, except like Gurren Lagann. But I think Dragon Ball kind of surpassed it in terms of what they've shown in the feats. Because again, it depends solely on how we're really interpreting it. Because I mean, granted, Gurren Lagann is still a more impressive feat, but I don't know. Gurren Lagann is more of a spectacle impressive feat. So I will agree with that. They have the best on-screen feat, but Goku has the best casuality with his feat. So again, it solely depends. So we're going to be ending the stream soon because it's already 12 o'clock. But I want to take a couple more questions. Where do you scale anti-Spyro and Simon? And Simon? Simon, I don't know. I don't know.
Simon fought the anti-Spyro, so I mean, you guess you could say technically relative, but that's via with
the mechs
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's with the mech itself rather than him actually scaling to that. So it's like, you know, it's like scaling Goku's ki attacks versus Goku's physical body in a sense. Big Nine. I think Luffy beats Natsu right now, as it stands right now. Though anime Natsu, I think, can still tussle really well with Luffy, give him extremely high difficulty.
Isn't Natsu pretty broken the last time I checked? Like mad broken with hacks.
Mm-hmm. And he's casually faster than light. I would like to know your opinion about this. Super Saiyan Blue Goku's Kamehameha could bypass the pretty black hole, but his instant teleportation couldn't. Is this some kind of infinite of immeasurable speed? You can argue that it messed up with his sense of abilities to sense other dimensions. But the thing is, black holes have been theorized to be other dimensions. And if you remember what Fudamase said, yeah, instant transmission acts like time travel. And black holes have been stated to bend space and time. So you can argue because of that, it has extra dimensional properties. So yeah, Goku's Kamehameha has extra dimensional properties as it literally warped and bent out of it and forced its way out. ATARi, a huge accelerator fan on YouTube, thinks he defeats Goku, a YouTuber called Othenus. You can check him out sometime. You may not like his vulgar internet personality. I mean, I don't like anyone's vulgar internet personality, but like I said in my last stream, a couple streams ago, no offense to Seth the Programmer, he is kind of the reason that they pioneered this type of personality. Not that Seth is an evil person himself, but his personality over the years has pioneered and inspired a plethora of people to kind of act like that. Always.
Pretty much. From
the debate Kotsky, when you used to be in the debate Kotsky, there used to be so many toxic people we dealt, and I think it was what's his name? Divine server. So there's a lot of people who kind of act very hood rat regarding anime and very rude. And that includes, not to sound vulgar or discriminated, but that includes white kids throwing out the N-word left and right like it's cool. Because that's what other people do. I mean, I've even seen Seth throw it out back in his old stream. But, I mean, that's not to call out anyone and make him look like a bad guy. I mean, it's just a word to me. To me it is. But you say it to the wrong brother, then, you know, that's like calling Piccolo or Vegeta lousy monkey. You see what Vegeta does to you. Goku won't care. But watch what Vegeta does to you. You know, so...
You lousy monkey.
So it literally depends on who you're dealing with. I mean, overall, is his content still great? Absolutely. But the personality and the reputation he's built for himself, he's got to do some cleaning up on that, you know? And so does a lot of others who try to follow that way. That's why you see Comic Books Explorer or those other channels. Why do you think they're doing so well? Because they're so kind to their fan base. They're not cussing them out, calling them morons or idiots because they disagree. They're just stating the facts and moving on. That's all there is. There's no calling people stupid or anything. It's just making your disagreements stated, and that's it. Even though I don't think they're the best. I mean, I think Comic Books versus the World is pretty awesome. Because he doesn't go around saying, you're stupid, you're a freaking idiot, you're an S word, A word, B word, punk, MF word. No, it's none of that. You could suck my D word inside the P word of your mama's T word. What? What even is that? So
Lord your God.
Yeah, like, I'm just going to stomp on you. You're going to keep coming back. I'm going to seal up all my cracks. You're going to keep coming back. Because why? Because you keep smelling the syrup. You worthless bitch-ass Nick Knob. That's exactly what you're going to see from them. And pardon my language, by the way, stream. I didn't mean to let that slip. But overall, that's exactly what we're dealing with. So, does I think Accelerator can beat Goku? No, I don't. I think that all comes down to the level of interpretation of his powers. But again, I have to look at the scans. Because remember, the Yumi Neko scans were taken out of context. And we debunked those. We was like, they don't really scale to that. It's a mystery game. They don't really scale to that. It's not a battle anime. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and read the last bit of comments before we end the stream. What's your opinion on Webcam Parrot, ATARi? Zay, my opinion on Webcam Parrot is he's a parrot. He repeats what everyone else said. No, I'm just kidding. I think Webcam Parrot, I don't really I mean, I will say this. When I last dealt with him, he was pretty vulgar. Using sexual, insults to talk about how badly he debunked me, supposedly, on dimensional tiering. Even though because at the time, I will admit, I was ignorant on how the versus battle algorithm interpreted dimensions, because I was looking at actual string theory versus the versus battle algorithm. Versus battle wiki doesn't use string theory alone. They use a combination of string theories. Rather than him taking the time to explain that and what temporality means and how there's higher temporalities, he instead insulted me. So what are my thoughts on him? Probably a cool guy once you get to know him. I mean, I talked to him in the DM. He was still pretty cool. But when he's debating, not the friendliest neighbor. He's not your friendly neighborhood parrot. So again, my opinion on him. I mean, he does his thing. I do my thing. No disrespect to him. If he ever wanted to ask for a commission, if he ever wanted to do a video together, I have no problem with it, because on this channel, it's not about holding grudges, dissing people, and all that stuff. It's all about, like, literally, it's all about wholesome, like, power scaling. We're doing it for fun. Like, we can roast each other for fun and stuff, but it's not, like, at the end of the day, going to be like, oh, I can't stand you, oh, I hate you. It's like, all right, whatever, man. I think, in my opinion, is this. And it's like, I mean, if that's your opinion, that's fine. As long as their opinion is not, like, it has results to back it up. I mean, SJ Ryu doesn't scale Goku as high as I do. Do I respect where he scales him? Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Does that mean we're going to fight about it? No, we respect each other's opinions, you know, or assessments, because none of our assessments are objective. There's just one with more evidence that people are likely to agree with. Because if you pretend,
let's keep in mind, if there's anyone who's going to diss anyone, I'd probably be the main one who would diss anyone in these live streams, because I'm the main one who does, especially when it comes to versus Battle Wiki.
Yeah,
that's ones I will diss. Other content creators, not so much, but versus Battle Wiki, I will gladly diss from sun up to sundown and to my last breath.
Koyama's statements, Omni God Goku. I'm gonna place Goku in the hyperversal ranges if we had to use those statements of Koyama. But then again, the statements are kind of weird, because the way Koyama's like, this is my opinion, though. It's like, okay, so it applies to the Dragon Ball movies, but you know what I mean? Sorry, it's pretty funny to think Goku would literally punch the entire Nasuverse Fate series into oblivion. No conceptual weapons will be helping here, and EA is literally garbage to him. I mean, yeah, it is. ATARi is the good cop. Roz is the bad cop. Yeah, sometimes. Roz is Vegeta. I'm Goku.
Minus the pride.
Yeah, exactly. Or Roz, yeah, like Roz is like. Actually, you know what? Even better, is Roz is like Jiren. Kind of, or hit. She's like, he gets the job done. And if you disagree with him, get slapped. Because he still has nice moments. Vegeta don't care about anyone's nice moments. Hit or Jiren can at least be considerate, considering Jiren is all about justice and power. In a sense.
I'll take it.
You know, so. It all depends. You know, if you're like Hit or Jiren, then I'm gonna say, like, I don't know how to put it. To me, you're gonna say you're Hit or Jiren. The way I look at it is like, then freaking Stride's gonna be, I don't know. Stride, who are you? Granola?
Wait, is Stride still in the call?
No. Yes. No.
I'm gassed because I love pissing myself.
At least.
So that means you got whipped by Bardock then.
Look,
all right, fair.
Stride is anyone except Gas.
No. Let him be Gas. He wants to be Gas. Let him be Gas.
He's Gas with the tribal tattoos.
There you go.
Oh, bro,
He's elect.
I'm a combination of Spider-Man and Batman because I got no money and no powers.
But you still have the intel.
No, I'm going to call Stride, Goku Black.
There we go. Damn lousy fodder debaters.
There we go.
The Zero Debaters plan.
Oh man!
Now that would be an animated we're seeing.
I feel like Andre is Broly. Like he'll have the calm demeanor, but if he needs to, if he deals with someone in the debate chat, he'll just. But it's like a combination of Broly's strength, but like the passiveness of Hit.
Yeah, I can see that.
He doesn't lose his composure. It's just like, okay, well, I don't like. I can tell you, like, if somebody says something stupid, like, "Oh, this character, blah blah," Andre's like, I mean, I don't really see how this character does that. There's no evidence, but okay. Seems like you guys are just scared. All right, let's see here. Average debater, he's beyond the concept of outerversal. Exactly. Does Koyama say these are his opinions, make statements? No. Well, the thing is, Koyama also said that these opinions are generated from, inspired by Toriyama's answers, because he would go back and ask Toriyama some of them. We kind of get like a general answer, and based on what he probably talked to Toriyama about in the past, will generate the true answer. Damn, man. I need to go get me some electrolyte water.
You want some of that water?
Oh God.
Nah, Nick, caught you slacking.
Blast.
But all right, guys, I think that's a good way to end the stream. It's been awesome. Everyone, we can go ahead and meet up in the Discord if you guys want to. We can, do our thing. I'm gonna be. YouTube doesn't like giveaways and stuff like that all the time, but again, like that could be something I'll announce in the Discord or anything if I'm ever planning on doing such a thing. I mean, I could do it on my regular videos, but on live stream they don't really want that because again, you don't want to really like do that type of stuff unless you get like a license. So again, we're just gonna keep it simple and say that it should be the end of the stream today. I just want to thank everyone who stopped by and everyone who's been part of it. Boyd, I also want to still thank you again for the $7 of super chat. That is amazing. That's the most I've seen before, and it's just I'm very grateful regardless, even if it's 50 cents. I'm very happy and appreciative because it shows that there's a lot of support and care within the community that we're trying to build.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So guys, look forward to next stream where we plan on doing a matchup chart and spread of Smash Ultimate on who is the strongest characters canonically in Smash Ultimate. We plan on doing something like that. And I think it's going to be a pretty interesting video. I think it's going to also be interesting in doing the video as a YouTube short, but I got to kind of get the program to work with that first. So overall, we're probably going to do that on our next stream. But thank you again, everyone. This is ATARi HMB, and we are signing off. Peace.
Take care, y'all.
Care.
Don't take care.
Pizza.